I know that we do. You keep up. That's the first fight. Everyone, I abandoned myself. It's not the sort of game. And I hear you across the minutes attack. I realize I'm not being touched for unworthy convincing me. Something else is black. And then the grandchildren tell me to look around. Therefore, I'll start taking my life. This is me. I'm on the out. Everybody read my mind. Believe me, this is not person. Third, I know this is the law. Hey, I am just full of my heart. I've got to leave it. Therefore, I'll look at you. I pray you down and think like and I'll hear about God. I shall not for you. Hey, I know your life is therefore, I will give you no transactions without at all respect. I will see by attaching myself towards you and cooperate with other people. I will tell them your needs. If I will love, I will repay you and self-sufficient. My love above all things. I know that any God is more than you can. I will love you. I will protect myself. I will silence one another. Face every without once again with full faith go back with my body while I don't tell you this is all that order to the chance with all the actions of time and that's no stuff. But I hate it when one door to take myself off. Here, I pass your life myself. Three, I bought that my spirit with my head, my bones, and every word, and my income. Four, I can play this one contact with me. 30+8, I Five, I also want to be. Six, I get my blood to what to do my love. Seven, I can do all my love. 8, I just want to get this thing. 6, 7, 8, 9, I all my love. I love everybody that's 100%. 11, our career is signed off on my everybody. 12, I was working out of all my life. I recognize that something big back on a big drama. Therefore, I can't follow that step. Hurry up! Now I'm the voice! I will be not follower! I will be not follower! I am deep not down! I will be not down! I will pray not destroy! I will pray not destroy! I am a force for good! I am a force for good! I am a leader! I am a leader! Fire! Fire! Set it in standard! Set it in standard! Step up! Step up! Step up! Step up! Step up! Step up! Open up the station! I believe in our fire! I rock for the sun. I don't want to know the name. You'll get that like heart. I just call it the step. I'm a master of the situation. I call it the second. I will have like God. I take it to the rock. I start to take it up. I am that one. I take it to my city. I know what I want to do. I attract and enjoy greater financial abundance each day. My gratitude is the only financial step. I do prosperous. I am prosperous. I have no money wise and I'm profit every day. Taking action to be sure. I'm being started today. I enjoy being debt free. Accident days. I enjoy what my clients see. I help them boost. I'm really an expert. I have started to be a real expert. I'm an investor. I'm financial independent. I reflect the needs of the others. I have solutions. I'm operating in my life. I call it fire and sell my life. I'm positive. I can never try I'm not crazy, I'm lonely, I'm not asking, but that's how it goes. Millions of people living this world. Baby, it's time to relax. To let out the love and forget how to hate. Mental wounds now healing. Life's a fantasy. I'm going off the rails on a crazy train. I'm going off the rails on a...
Kind of hard to end on a crazy train.
Man, I know, it's such a good song.
And we'll journal the crazy train for a little bit. Good morning.
Good morning.
How's everyone doing today?
Great.
Happy February.
Right.
1 month down.
all of you that did not set your New Year's resolutions because you don't like to be part of that group, you can start today. For now in February, right? I know there were some of you that said, I'm not going to set that because it's New Year's resolution. We're not going to make it anyway, so we'll start later. Now is the time. All right, gratitudes, victories. We've got to have something. Okay.
Went out door knocking yesterday for the very first time ever and got appointment on the 10th house.
Wow. Serious. Nice job, Jeff.
Some people walking down the street. So. Hey, they were right there, so I just thought I'd do something and kind of pissed the husband off, but it's okay. It works. Just kept going, smiling.
Yeah. That's good. That's awesome. It was a good day yesterday for door knocking.
It was good weather. So, yeah, I got about 35 then ran out of cards. Got a couple of go-to-hells and decent people though, and then
Those are your people.
So.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we're looking for specific people, and those weren't them. But if you got a lead or an appointment, that's awesome. Yeah, keep going, keep doing that. That's good. Great. Anybody else?
I had my first recruiting appointment ever yesterday.
Yeah.
Nice.
He's coming to Summit, so everyone should say hi to him. Thanks.
That's cool.
That was fun.
Cool. Good job. Good job on that. Any more firsts?
First, did you say?
Any more firsts? We had a first and a first. You have first?
Not
No,
necessarily.
but you can have a gratitude or.
But it's probably my best week in real estate.
Nice.
Not even the business aspect, but just finding the flow within my time blocking for prospecting. So that's exciting for me.
Good for you.
Good job. Yeah. Keep it up. It's like Aaron, you shaked again. Good job. George will be happy. Rick.
I'm grateful Javelyn's here. Working with us and working through the process before she has her license. It's such a wise step. It's what Mike did. Mike's doing great things now. That's good having you here, so thank you for that.
I feel really blessed to be able to be here, definitely.
Awesome.
And being around people that raise your vibrations and support and help guide you.
You're going to do well.
I will.
Yeah, thanks for coming. Yeah. Anybody else? Gratitude.
I'm grateful also for Ruby
Thank you.
being here. And you guys don't know, those of you who don't know, she's part of the broker manager team. We needed a stronger female presence because of us ugly, crusty guys being on the team.
Female presence.
Yeah. Ours doesn't show as well. So I'm excited for Ruby and being part of leadership here. And she's going to do incredible things. So we're excited for that.
Well said.
Well, thank you.
Yep.
I'm grateful to be here.
Perfect. Okay, so as far as announcements, this class is next week, so it's next Friday. So if you need some CE class, I think this is a 1 hour elective and 1 hour course. So does that mean it's 2 hours? Yeah, 10 to 12. So 1 hour elective, 1 hour core. So if you need that, come check it out.
What is it on, Jason?
The unsick house and planning for the unexpected.
Yeah, what was that actually?
My guess is it's about inspection issues and what to look for when you go into the house, so you don't have any unexpected things happen that your clients call you up after it's closed and say, you sold me something crappy.
CE credit alone is worth going. Just having a core class is really, really good to have.
What's the date?
Next Friday.
That's
Next
the
Friday.
age, isn't it?
Put this on your calendar. It looks like we're a little ways out, but Youth Summit is in April.
And just real quick on that note, Jason, the Youth Summit, you guys, I think this is like the 3rd or 4th year. What an incredible moment for you. For you guys who don't know, this is, you bring those young kids and they'll have a summit like we do each month. So it's a great opportunity of great speakers, and it helps youngsters kind of get into the flow of what we do. So great opportunity. I love this. And April Oaks, I think, want to set this in motion. So she's probably give you more detail than what we could.
Yeah, there'll be more details we come
Yeah.
through the next couple of months. There is Summit next week. We probably should put that up there though.
Yeah.
Next Thursday, so it's a different day than we normally have Thursday. I think that is the 7th. The 7th. So plan on that. It should be a really good one. And we should, I think that's it for this week. So I was thinking today, and I'm gonna show you some of my artistic abilities. We're just gonna start with the thinking and artistic. Did you just say thinking and artistic ability?
Did it hurt?
Yes, it did.
You
know it. All right.
What is it?
Yeah, that's right. It's not a lion, Rick.
It's a live one.
Okay, so use your imagination. This is a person.
Baseball bat.
Oh, there we go. So it's not as bad as I thought it was going to be. All right. So who's played baseball in here before? Oh, everybody. Okay. Who's really, really good?
I used to be.
You really, really good? Okay. Will you come up and draw?
Come on, Keith.
Will you draw a strike zone for me for this person?
You can do
Oh,
that.
a strike zone?
Yeah. Draw a strike zone.
Where are the knees?
Yeah.
Here you go. He's wearing knee pads today.
Okay, so if the plate is here, I would say the strike zone is going to be right in here.
Oh wow.
Okay.
Over the plate, obviously.
Over the plate. Okay.
That should grab the plate.
Okay.
Okay. So right in this area is we're talking about is a strike zone. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. Is everybody okay with that? Anybody disagree with where the strike zone is? Okay. So a really, really good baseball player, how many times do they hit the ball typically?
How many times they get a hit?
Get a hit.
Third of the time, it's really good.
Really?
That's a multi-million-dollar player.
Really?
Yeah.
Third of the time,
Okay.
it's
So
really good.
multi-million-dollar player, you're saying they're hitting it 3 out of 10 times?
That's a
Oh
multi.
yeah. I mean,
Really?
those guys get paid $3.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay. So
Yep.
so maybe 1 to 2 is the average.
25%.
Well, yeah, it's over 2. Yeah, you're in between 2 and 3.
Okay,
Ah.
so we'll
One,
just
not
keep it at
by
3.
much.
3 out of 10 times they're getting hit, right? And they're making millions of dollars.
Millions.
Okay,
Wow.
does that make sense? Now, when they hit this, how many times do you think it's going to be in the strike zone when they hit it? This is 3 out of 10.
Those 3 times, probably.
Probably those 3 times, right? Okay, maybe a little less. Maybe they might get lucky with something else, but average, they're going to put most of them in here, right? So my question to you guys, because we're not playing baseball, we're doing real estate. Why are we swinging at things that are outside of our strike zone? So what would our strike zone be? As real estate agents, what is it?
What is the strike zone?
What could it be?
That's buyers. Bisbo.
Buyers,
Expired.
Bisbos, okay,
Motivated.
motivated, okay. Is that the same for everybody?
No.
No? Is this strike zone always the same for everybody?
Nope.
Okay, how would it change?
Height.
Height,
How tall they are.
Standards.
And
Standards.
different umpires.
Skill set.
Aaron hit it where I want to talk to you about. Standards. So what are standards?
Your rules, your guidelines.
Okay, I like that. Rules, guidelines.
Minimums.
Minimums. I don't know how to spell minimum. Lots of M's and then a couple of I's and then a U.
First and last letters, right?
You can't spell it more than one way. You're not very creative,
We're
right?
not creative. That's right. Okay, what else? What else is standards?
Schedule.
Give me an example of a standard that you might either have or you at least seen someone else have. We're talking specifically in real estate.
Like commissions.
Commission
Yeah,
standards.
great one.
Okay. I like that. So that would be a good one. So we could
Jason, one of mine is I am absolutely insanely fanatical about being somewhere on time.
Okay.
If I'm not 5-10 minutes early, I'm late, and it drives me batty.
I like that.
How about not going on, not going on an appointment unless they check out on pre-qual?
So pre-qualified.
Don't swing.
We just talked about
Yeah,
That's
Okay.
right.
that's right. Gary Brennan.
You were saying all the good things about me.
Were.
Yes.
Yeah.
You were all part of our gratitudes.
That's all we know, April.
What else? What other standards do we have?
Like prospecting time blocks.
Okay. So prospecting time blocks.
Schedule, yeah.
Okay.
Motivation,
I think-
ability.
Motivation and ability. So you're talking about the clients?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm just gonna put that as our acronym CAMP. Motivation, price, ability, condition.
Just the skill set, I would say. The skill set
The skill set.
of your presentation, having high standards for your presentation.
Oh, okay, so a level of skills.
Yes.
The level of your skills. Okay. Chris?
I believe measurables are extremely important. So, like Rick was saying, I think along the lines of minimums many times. So I absolutely will hit this many contacts, this many appointments.
Okay.
All the things you look at that we must do.
So minimum standards as far as the numbers you're hitting.
Sure, we can say contacts. We can
Contacts.
Say contacts.
So
We
a
can
standard of contacts that you want.
say or appointments.
Yeah, contacts, appointments. Okay, if it's a standard and you're not hitting it, that becomes a problem, or does it not?
Big problem.
Okay. If it's not your standard, then obviously you'll let it go. But when you're not living to your standards, what happens? What happens if you don't live up to your standards?
Your standards are lower. Your standards become lower.
They can become lower.
Good strike.
We create guilt.
Yeah.
How about a standard of how we take care of ourselves physically?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like that.
You end up with this.
Take good care of yourself.
So Rick, what you're saying is this isn't a standard, but being on time for lunch is a standard.
Being 5 to 10 minutes early for lunch.
What other standards do we have?
Type of person that you're gonna be, like the way you treat others as well.
Yeah,
as
so
yourself.
you're the way that you treat others and who you are, right? Okay, what about some more real estate ones?
Realistic.
I think the same as who you are, like sticking to what you're supposed to do. Can that be a
So,
standard?
personal integrity,
Yeah.
maybe? Okay. What'd you say, Aaron?
They're realistic.
Realistic?
And they want input.
They want input. Okay, so willing to listen to you, maybe take your guidance. Okay.
Which all comes out in the pre-qual.
Yeah, if you use your pre-qual, I mean, basically, what is a pre-qual? Pre-qual is defining if they meet your standards. Because not everybody will ask the same questions in the pre-qual. Maybe we should go through every question, hint, hint. But if we don't, I mean, that's a just basic questions. But all the pre-qual is trying to figure out if they match your criteria for you to go. We talked about this over here. If they don't meet your standards, you're swinging at something that's not in your strike zone. So the chances of connecting with it go down dramatically. Would you not agree with that? Okay, so when we ask for pre-qualification, we're looking for our own standards. If we don't have standards, how will we be able to determine whether or not it's in our strike zone?
So Jeff said something earlier when on his first day of door knocking, and then he ran into some people on the street, and they were, what was your description of them? An ass or something like
Well,
that?
that was kind of an ass. I didn't
Okay.
care.
But this Jeff said something profound. They weren't your client.
Yeah.
That standard, think about it, because it's somebody's client in here. And I think that's such a profound statement to be thinking about.
Somebody's swinging at that one.
Somebody's gonna chase it down.
That's a 4-point listing.
But holding to what, yeah, they're not yours, and identifying that, being able to see it, whether it is in the strike zone or not. That is a standard. Am I gonna swing at anything?
Mhm.
I would, because I don't play baseball.
How distractible you are.
How distractible as a standard?
Yeah, I like
How
that.
interruptible are you? How accessible are you to your clients? Can they call you any minute and you just answer? Interrupt your prospecting.
Yeah. I mean, if your standard is no matter what I pick up every single time, you might have a different results than somebody who's saying I never pick up until a certain time of the day, right? Now, let me ask you this. Let's be real clear here. Can we all have different understandings of what these standards are?
Yes.
Does it make it wrong?
No.
No. So somebody who says, I'm an agent who will always pick up the phone every single time it calls because I never want to miss a deal. Is that wrong to feel that way?
No, not necessarily.
Not necessarily. So you have some standard on there that you're putting into it.
Yes.
Their standard might be, I want to be accessible 100% of the time to my clients, and that's what they live up to. Doesn't necessarily mean it's right or wrong. It just means it's their standard. We have to look at what our standards are so that we can get the closest to this.
Yeah.
Okay? What else?
Like a drive time to a deal. Like, would you be willing to drive up to Brigham City for a day?
Yeah, so I like that one. I'll share one of mine. If it's past a certain distance, the price has to be a certain price. So anything less than $250 for me that's in Ogden, I'm going to refer it out. I'm not going to drive up there for less than $250,000. Now, if it's a buyer, I might refer it anyway, but that's my standard. Okay, so drive time, I like it. Yeah.
Greg, I don't know if he said it sort of future pacing or setting the standards of how the transaction's gonna lay out or go, kind of just giving them an idea of what step by step is gonna take place.
Okay, so are you saying the standard is that you always future pace them? Is that what you're saying?
Mhm.
Okay. Table.
A standard I'm working towards is when you get to a home, I expect them to be sitting there at the table with me, both of them. Sometimes there's excuses for why they have to go off.
Mhm.
But that's all part of setting up the expectation before you go there. So that's a standard I'm working on.
Okay, so if they're both not at the table, would you not give the presentation?
That is currently I still do a little bit, but I would say the standard I need to set and live to is they both have to be there at the table. Yes, not just one in the other room or something like that.
Yeah. Okay. I think it's a great standard. And as you can see, all of these when we're listing them, sometimes they're harder to do than others. And what we talked about as far as when we don't follow our standards, it creates guilt. Okay, there's only two ways to get rid of guilt. One is lower the standards or meet your standards. Otherwise, you're going to feel guilty because your standard's higher than where you're at, so you don't feel good about what you're doing. So people sometimes are like, this standard's way too high. I always feel bad about myself. And so instead of becoming better to make that hit, they're going to lower their standards so that they feel good about it. Okay? How many times have we gone out on a listing presentation and both parties are not there? because it wasn't a standard for us. Or it was a standard and then we feel really bad after we're done. Does that make sense? Yeah.
That's actually, it's funny that you say that. That's a real thing, and it's called cognitive dissonance.
Mm-hmm.
So whenever you get away from what your story is or whatever you believe to be true for you, it does create those feelings of guilt because you're not living, I think it was Barbara, with integrity. And so it really messes with your brain.
It does.
Psychological level, yeah.
And a lot of times it's happening inside. And so we come back and we say, I'm off this week. I don't know why I'm off this week. Things aren't going the way that I want them to go. Well, maybe you've been swinging at different things that aren't even in your strike zone and you're frustrated because you're not hitting them. So sometimes we have to take a step back and say, okay, first off, let's define what these standards are for you. You know, what are they? What kind of buyer are you willing to work with? What kind of seller are you willing to work with? You know, do they have to have a certain criteria for you to want to work with them? Once you've defined that, now you kind of know where this is, and it's easier to say, did I just swing at something that was not, the chances of hitting it were pretty low? Because when we swing at a lot of these outside ones and we miss, what happens to us?
Foul ball.
Foul ball, if you, yeah.
Got a chance of a bobble on the line, though.
Yeah.
We hit less because our confidence goes down.
You hit less because your confidence goes down.
It's exhausting.
It's exhausting. It's frustrating. All of those happen. And when I want you to think about it, last week, the business that you had, how many of these things were you swinging at that now all of a sudden you're combating because you're trying to come back with the mental side and building it up? I got to build myself up every single day, right? Keep in mind that the best of the best in baseball are hitting 3 out of 10 in this zone right here. And when they come back and reevaluate their game, they're saying, okay, how many am I hitting here? I'm only swinging at this. If we take that mindset into our business and real estate, if we take that thought of saying, I'm going to create these standards, and no matter what, this is my standard, and this is why I created the standard, you're going to see more success. It's when we bend those standards that we start, you know, yeah, can you hit a ball out here?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay? It's when we hit one out here, and then we start saying, oh, I'm awesome, everything's working, this is perfect. So I didn't pre-qualify them that time, but it worked out because I showed up at the house and my personality convinced them that they were motivated and I got them to sell. Come on, we all say that, right? when it goes that way. Sometimes we can hit.
Sometimes the batters get thrown a curveball or a slider and it looks like it's in the strike zone, then it just takes off out and it was really a bad throw. But the batters learn to recognize that as time goes on, they get better and better at not swinging because they know.
Yeah.
Experience.
And as you build your skills, I mean skills, if we want to keep with this analogy as far as your skills, professionals are getting smarter, they make better decisions, they make them quicker, their reactions are like split-second reactions. It's the same thing in real estate. It's the same thing we do here. You can make decisions, especially if you really know what your standards are, you can make a quick decision on, am I going with this or am I not? Have you ever had a client where you're like, I really shouldn't be working with this person? Like it's not working. And then you go along with the transaction, and then you really decide you shouldn't have worked with them. And then it might go through, but a lot of times it falls apart, and you're like, I knew it when I first started. I shouldn't have worked with this person, right? You've developed some of those skills, and as we work on those skills and we get faster at it, just making the decision like, that doesn't meet my standard, I'm sorry. I'll take a referral fee on that one and let someone else deal with it.
Don't mention our 2.5-year-old.
I'm not mentioning our 2.5-year-old deal that you worked on, but yes. Sometimes we get paid, but sometimes it's at a cost.
Minimum wage. Yeah.
Sometimes it's a cost, but so does this make sense?
A lot of sense.
Can you put that into your business? Will that help your business if you do that?
I can watch baseball much better now and understand it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you just need to create some standards, Rick. It even works if you tell me your standards so that I can keep you to your standards. But either way, it works. So, guys, I hope this thought. I know it's just a real basic, simple analogy that we used, but I want it to be simple because creating these standards and creating a life that you really want can be simple if we focus on the right things. If we focus on just hitting these, if you swing it, you got 3 hits and you hit them, you feel really good. But if you swing it, 20 different things and you never hit anything, it becomes really hard. And you guys are too good to shortchange yourself and just say, I'm going to swing at anything that goes out there. Everyone in this room is capable of focusing on what needs to be done, and they can make the hits.
I want to comment. Greg made a really profound statement that the longer we're in the game, the more we start identifying the pitch and whether it's one to swing at or not. It's fascinating how well that fits with being brand new in the business and swinging at everybody that's breathing. And we start identifying, quickly the standards which we need. Because everybody, I think, wants to buy, but not everybody can. And being able to lead them is extremely important, whether they're in the game or not. So that's a really good comment.
No, yeah, great point. Thanks for bringing that up. And you mentioned something there. Even new in the business, we feel like I just want the experience. I just want to swing at everything because I'm new in the business. Even, I would say, especially new agents, if you can dial in what your standard is from the start, you're going to see that really move forward.
Yeah.
I mean, we've got agents that created standards. I mean, we've got agents that their standard from the very beginning was 7% listings.
I think camp is a good base to start with when you're in your first couple of years.
Yeah.
If they satisfy CAMP, then it's pretty good.
Yeah, and it's a great way to start.
Simple.
Perfect. Thank you for sharing that. Okay, guys, let's create those standards, live your dreams, and we'll have a good day. Welcome to February.
What's your standard on your own?
Where's your standard?
It's only been like 10 years.
All right, here we go. Closing affirmation. Nice to see you. Come back. I'm like, oh, I'm up. I like lucky people. I know it's sweaty. I'm going to stay. I'm going to shine my mom. I'm going to pass down real estate. I know it's my favorite food. I like asking questions for this. I enjoy reading myself too. I love to my most natural. I go up my great faith. I'm meditating about prayers. I'm sure myself faith. I love prospects of my business. I see my shoes on. I love my life. I'm grateful, thankful. I'm so happy. I'm really, I'm confident. I just like it. I'm I connect with love. I love. I am just a God of my days. I lost my shade. I am a woman city. I'm a mass business. I achieve my goals. I'm a real estate rockstar. I'm passionate about my life. I live in the world. I'm proud of myself. I know my destiny. I know it's strong. I'm powerful. I'm unstoppable. I keep positive time. I'm no fun. Yes. I don't dance, I don't sing. You can't sing and dance.